I am going to tell you about how it is we can partner with communities and service delivery systems to take good ideas and turn them into well-defined strategies that can allow us to improve outcomes for the populations that we work with. We know that good ideas only get us so far, and if those good ideas can't actually be used in practice and sustained in practice, we won't be able to get to those outcomes. We know from implementation science that it takes three things to get to improved outcomes: effective practices, those good ideas I just mentioned, effectively implemented within an enabling context. But we've learned over the last 10 or 20 years working in this field that that first part of the formula is often the sticking point, that those good ideas that we hope are effective practices are often ill-defined, making it very hard for us to implement them well and to implement them consistently. As well, those effective practices are often top-down ideas developed by researchers, funders, policymakers, without authentic engagement from key stakeholders, which can lead to a lack of buy-in and perhaps more importantly, a lack of contextual fit of the practice within which we are trying to, the context within which we are trying to deliver it. Practice profiles are a method that we've developed to allow us to take those good ideas and turn them into well-defined practices with stakeholder buy-in. Practice profile development includes three major principles. The first is co-creation, that we develop the models with stakeholders. Implementation science, that we both identify and define the core components of those practices that we want to use. And improvement science, that we use rapid cycle tests of change to understand whether we can deliver that practice in context and get those achieved results. Now here's the most complex slide to get through in 30 seconds. But practice profiles involve 5 key steps. These steps are iterative and often overlapping. The first, document reviews. We want to understand how have those good ideas been described by others? Who's describing them? How are they describing them? What do they hope that it looks like in practice? Semi-structured interviews with key stakeholders, including those expected to deliver the new way of work and those who will receive it: patients, families, children. Systematic scoping reviews. What does the research say is critical for achieving those outcomes? Early versions of the profile emerge in those first steps, letting us to get to greater definition that then's refined through vetting and consensus building. And then finally, with rigorous usability testing, multiple cohort designs, we understand if that practice is relevant, understandable, feasible, and will achieve outcomes. At the end of this process, we get to a version of this profile that we hope is stabilized enough to actually implement. So getting back to that initial formula, that effective practice is now inserted in there. It's been moved from a good idea to something that's well-defined, that has buy-in from key stakeholders and a strong contextual fit. We're able to then effectively implement it, create a context that's hospitable for the new way of work, allowing us to get to improved outcomes for the populations that we work with. Thank you.